Is there still a quarantine? Do you still have a quarantine? Did you even have a quarantine in the first place? Did you have a quarantine, get out of quarantine, and then have to go back in quarantine? Because right now, I don't know what the situation is going on anymore, even here at home. Hey guys, so today I want to talk about everything that's been keeping me sane throughout quarantine, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us have been doing the same things, but I just want to talk about what I've been doing. Okay, so the first thing that's kept me sane throughout quarantine, I'm gonna start like from February, March to now. First thing that's kept me sane throughout quarantine, and I'm gonna sound like an old lady, is cross-stitching. So I've been cross-stitching since I was younger, and when we went to Alaska a few years ago, my boyfriend bought me this cross-stitch, and it's been sitting in my closet for like 2.5 years. And then last year I did just a little bit of it. If you cross-stitch, you know it takes months, years to finish. The first half of my cross-stitch took me about 5 months. But in the whole month of April, for 6 to 8 hours every single day, I was just cross-stitching, and it took me only 1 month. I know that sounds long, but if you cross-stitch, you know that's really short. It only took me 1 month to finish one side. So this first side of the cross-stitch took me about 5 months, and then the next half took me about 1 month. So that is what it looks like. I still need to frame that. And just a few days after, I think like 3 days after I was done cross-stitching, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I felt like I was going insane, and I felt so bad because since cross-stitching was keeping me so busy, like I never looked at my phone or anything. I was just so busy, happy cross-stitching, and my boyfriend was right next to me, like going insane.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
He was like, okay, I don't want you to become like me. So he actually bought me another cross stitch, and that took 3 months to come in. This is what it looks like. There's like a peacock. It reminds me of Venice, and like we both really love Venice. That's why I got this. So this is where I'm at right now. This took about like a month and a half. So yes, that has been keeping my brain calm, and that's like a big majority of what I've been doing during quarantine, and again has been keeping me sane. Okay, next big thing that I've been doing is baking. And no, I have not been baking banana bread. I have no idea why that became the quarantine choice of dessert. Like, why banana bread? Anyways, so I was baking chocolate crinkles. If you don't know what crinkles are, they're basically chocolate cookies. They're kind of like chocolate brownie cookies covered in powdered sugar. I've never seen them here in the States. They're everywhere in the Philippines, and I grew up with them. Even when I visited my mom last year in the Philippines, and I had tonsillitis and I shouldn't have been eating sugar, I was like, Ma, can you get me crinkles? I just want crinkles. Even though I have tonsillitis. You better have, or I'll kill you.
How many crinkles do you need?
4.
Only 4? Okay, 5. Namiss niyang kumain ng crinkles. They have the hope yeah.
This has been like 50% of my boyfriend and I's diet. I have made those crinkles at least once a week, every week. So I've made it at least over 30 times during quarantine. I know I'm shocked we haven't gained like 10 pounds, but that recipe is so simple. Even when I'm high and like I'm craving something, I can still bake that. Okay, you're gonna need 1 cup sugar, 1/3 cup canola oil, mix, add in 1 tablespoon flaxseed, 1/3 cup milk. This is my favorite milk ever, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and you mix that up. Grab a sifter. In culinary school, everyone's utensils got mixed up, so we had to put stickers or our names on them. You're gonna sift 1 cup flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt. The recipe calls for 1 1/4 cups flour, and personally I think it makes it taste a little dry, so I only use 1 cup, and I place it in the fridge for like 10 minutes so it can be formed into balls better. Then you're just gonna roll them in powdered sugar, bake them at 350 degrees for 12 minutes, and voila, you're done. Best cookies ever. I'll put the recipe I use down below. I actually love these crinkles more than the crinkles in the Philippines because they're more chocolatey. The Philippines isn't a really chocolatey dessert place. It's more like sugar, coconut, condensed milk. They're not a big chocolate country. So sticking to food, I want to talk about all the new food items we found during quarantine. So first is nugs. Instagram kept spamming me with these chicken nuggets and I gave in. Like, I love supporting especially new vegan food brands, and I'm sorry, but they suck. Whatever spice is in here, I think it's like paprika, it just overwhelms the whole taste. Like, all you can taste is that paprika, and I'm not like a big sauce dipper, but I have to smother these nuggets in sauce to take away that taste, and it's just way too much, and I actually would not recommend these. My favorite vegan chicken nuggets are these alpha nuggets. I've tried so many vegan chicken nuggets, and a lot of them like taste like soy. This one does taste like soy, but this is like the most natural tasting one. This just like, no, it's not worth it. Next thing I found just recently are these folded just eggs. I would just use the liquid ones when I make like sausage egg muffins, and these just have made it so much easier to make because you can actually just pop these in the toaster. These have just made cooking so much easier, so I would definitely recommend these. This is actually the closest thing I feel like you could get to actual chicken. We're lucky enough to have a 100% vegan like small store near us, and Sunny, the owner there, he's always switching out with new hard to find vegan food, and he brought in these. They're vegan drumsticks. If you find these, or maybe if you find these online, you should definitely try them. I personally think they're the closest tasting thing to actual chicken. And they even have like a bone in there. Like, I think it's like a sugar cane. You can also eat that too. These are so good. Next thing I found recently was at Trader Joe's. These are vegan cheesecakes. I've never liked cheese or cheesecake, but like I said, if I find a new vegan food, like, I'm willing to try it, and I actually really like these. You do need some kind of fruit sauce. Let me just grab what I use. I just went over to Vaughn's and grabbed this strawberry fruit syrup. So it's pretty, I don't want to say bland, but it needs something. It needs fruit on it, so definitely get like a syrup or a sauce. You could make your own coulis because syrup's not as thick as coulis, so you could make like raspberry coulis for it. Oh my gosh, is there mold growing on this? I would definitely recommend these. Shishito peppers. I have no idea why I've never heard of them, why I've never seen them on menus. I mean, I feel like I eat a lot of Japanese food, but I feel like I've never seen shishito peppers. Never even made them in culinary school. So when my boyfriend bought these, I was like, what are those? I thought they would be like really spicy, like jalapenos, but they're not. And we've been eating a lot of these recently. I don't know what recipe my boyfriend used, but I know he just puts olive oil over them and then bakes them. I'll put up the sauce or whatever he uses. Next big thing that we're actually sick of it now is pizza. We actually visited my brother in June for my nephew's birthday, and his wife made us pizza, and we were like, oh my gosh, why have we never made our own pizza? So we just get this crust from Vaughn's, Classico traditional pizza sauce, mushrooms, jalapenos, sliced olives, Daya mozzarella shreds, Morningstar chorizo crumbles, and yes, I like pineapple on my pizza, bite me. We cooked the crumbles for a bit since they're frozen, and we only baked the pizza for 10 minutes. Last but not least, also something at the vegan store near us is this Vego. It's a chocolate hazelnut bar. I feel like this is the closest thing you could get to milk chocolate, because usually vegan chocolate bars are dark chocolate. Like, obviously milk chocolate isn't vegan, but this is almost tasting like milk chocolate, and it's just full of hazelnuts. It is pretty sweet though. I love my sugar, but it is sweet. If you eat the chocolate by itself, you kind of need to get the hazelnut in there. These, I have been eating them like crazy. So the next thing that's been keeping me busy throughout quarantine is having to work out all the food. I'm pretty sure a bunch of us have been working out more than usual during quarantine. And if you haven't worked out during quarantine, I'm not judging. I totally get it. Nothing really changed from my workout routine. 90% of what I watch is Whitney Simmons, and the other 10% is a mix of Athlean X, Barbarian Body, sometimes Chloe Ting. But I found 2 new channels which I've been loving during quarantine. So number one is Ava Fitness. I know she has other different YouTube channels, but they're all like in the same studio. This was on my recommended list. I clicked on it, I watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna look so stupid dancing or doing aerobics like that. Let me try it. So I did start going to the gym when I was like 17, 18, and I loved aerobics classes. I would love if gyms would have like an 80s aerobics dance class, you know, where you could come in with like your leotards dressed in the 80s, have 80s music. Like that would be such a fun class, but I have no idea if that exists. Anyways, when I was younger, I would do aerobics classes. I was always the only young person in aerobics class. I would even tell my friends, I was like, guys, can you join me with aerobics? And they're like, no, you know, that's for old people. But I didn't care. These videos actually make me feel like at home because it's all women, older women, Asian women. This was back in the Philippines. So having older Asian women working out with me doing aerobics feels good. And I'm actually excited now to work out. Usually I have to like get myself in the mindset like, okay, I'm gonna work out, I have to stretch. But with this, like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm so excited. I wouldn't technically do these videos if I was trying to lose weight. If I was trying to lose weight, I'd probably do like insanity or more HIIT workouts. This isn't high intensity. It's more lit. It's more lit. It's longer than a HIIT video, but you'll be sweating. So I do these videos on ab and shoulder days. I use it as a warm-up. I'll do like a 40-minute video or 1-hour video, and then I'll do my abs and shoulders. And this is perfect because there are almost no leg workouts in these videos, and my legs are usually sore from leg day the day before. 90% of the exercises in these videos are standing ab crunches. Like, I mean, you're dancing and doing aerobics, but you're also like, you keep doing ab crunches. And the last reason I love these videos so much and keep going back to them is that there is no talking. One thing I hate, especially like with cardio, are the teachers talking.
Okay, one more. Yeah, let's do it. Keep going.
Like, I hate that. I just want to be like, oh my gosh, shut up. But I love that there's no talking. It's easy to follow along. This is just straight to the point. Follow, have fun, listen to fun music. She does use a lot of fun music, and you'll be sweating. If you are following along on your laptop though, make sure your webcam is covered because the FBI doesn't want to be looking at that. No, just no. Next channel I found is Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. So with a lot of workouts, I get bored pretty easily. I hate sets when it comes to abs. I have my videos that I love where it's just one thing. There is no multiple sets. When I first found Mr. and Mrs. Muscle's ab videos, I didn't know what to expect. And then when I realized there were 4 sets, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the opposite of what I want. But I tried it out anyways. The workouts are so simple that doing 4 sets of them are doable. When you do the first round, you're like, okay, that wasn't so bad. Second round, okay, I'm getting warm. Third round, that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, can I do another set? And then the 4th round, like, I'm dying. So I'm used to their setup now. 4 sets now doesn't really kill me as much, but their ab workouts really make my abs sore. They just make it easy and simple and straight to the point. Again, no talking, just music and the workout. Those 2, I would definitely say go check them out. I mean, if you're not into aerobics, then don't follow Ava Fitness, but Mr. and Mrs. Muscle have really good workout videos. Next on the quarantine list is online shopping. I am proud to say that I didn't go crazy, especially with the first few months, like February to May, February, March, April, May, 4 months. I only bought 3 things and they were from Amazon. I bought this, and a couch cover. My brother has an ab roller and I remember trying it for the first time a few months ago. I was like, yeah, I have good core strength. That looks so easy. And I did it. I was like, okay, nope. I love any kind of workout equipment. I love my resistance bands, my ankle weights, my core sliders. Like, I love anything to spice up a workout. So I was like, okay, an ab roller is perfect. And this has definitely strengthened my core. I do not have a 6-pack. I'm not looking to have a 6-pack, but a lot of ab workouts that I always do, they are very easy now after using this. Make sure you use it correctly though, don't injure yourself. So this next thing, you're like, okay, what the hell is this? So I was looking for something to strengthen my pelvic floor, and I remember when I used it the first time, my inner thighs were so sore. I don't like working out my inner thighs, but my inner thighs were so sore. This also works out your booty. So I mean, you just stick it between your thighs and you just squeeze it. This is actually pretty fun to use. After leg day for a cool down, I'll use this. If I'm washing the dishes, I'll be using this. Okay, and that last thing I got was the couch cover. So my best friend brought her dog over. I put a blanket over the couch because of all the fur. I got so used to having a blanket over the couch, and I was happy that crumbs weren't falling in between the cracks. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should get a couch cover. That would be perfect if her dog comes over. So I bought that in like February or March, and March, April, May, June, July, August, September, I think. So 7 months I got that couch cover for her dog, and 7 months it took for her to come over and for her to enjoy the couch cover. There's a bunch of different ones on Amazon, obviously, but I like this one because it's really soft and furry. In the daytime though, I mean in California, it's not the best because it gets really hot, but it's like the perfect Netflix and cuddle texture. If you live somewhere cold, that's a perfect fabric. Those are the only 3 things I bought in the first 4 months. In June, the only thing I bought was makeup for my Black-owned makeup company's video. So I bought 3 things for 4 months, bought makeup, and then July, August hit, and all my money down the drain straight into plants. But we will get to that. Next, I want to talk about movies and TV shows and games. What's keeping my boyfriend sane throughout quarantine is video games. And I am not the type of girlfriend to be like, babe, stop playing video games, pay attention to me, because that boy is the hardest working person I know. Like, he never has time to just sit down. Like, he was always at work, and he might finish like 1 video game in a year. So I was like, go crazy, go wild, play all the video games you can. Like, I can think of 10 that he's played. He's played a lot during quarantine. But that's what that boy has been doing. But there has only been 1 game that I played during quarantine, and it was Pokemon. So when I was younger, I had my Game Boy Color. I had a bunch of games, but Pokemon Red was my favorite. And I know there's been a bunch of like Pokemon games ever since then. That was like 1994 or 7 when the first Pokemon games came out. Of course, I was like an old person, like, no, it's never gonna be as good as the original. And my boyfriend had his Nintendo Switch, and he was like, hey, check out this preview of Pokemon Pikachu. I think it's Hey Pikachu or something Pikachu. And he gave it, and I played it, and I was like, okay, not bad. And he actually bought it for me, and I played it. Oh my gosh, like, my mind was so blown. I was so happy because it's the exact game as the Game Boy, but it felt like I was seeing for, I know that sounds so dramatic, it felt like I was seeing for the first time because it was the exact game, but it was in color. You could actually see the Pokemon walking around in the grass compared to like accidentally bumping into them in the Game Boy. I was just like, oh my gosh, is this what this generation is experiencing with color? I know that sounds really dramatic. It basically felt like going from a regular video game you play to playing it in VR. Like, I was smiling from ear to ear the 4 days. It only took me 4 days. Like, I finished it in 4 days, and then I was like, okay, now what do I do with my life? But that made me so happy. Like, 13-year-old Sasha Joy just came back. Like, as soon as I woke up, I played it all the way till bedtime. It just made me happy and sane for 4 days, but I mean, it was worth it. Next, with movie and TV shows, I want to talk about the ones that I would definitely recommend. I'm sure we have all binge watched a crap ton of shows and movies during quarantine. These are the ones where I would text my friends, hey, you gotta watch this. It depends on my friends though, because my guy friend likes different things than my girlfriends. So the first 2 months of quarantine was us binge watching MasterChef Junior. We watch a lot of cooking shows, but this was the first one where we were really into it. After MasterChef Junior, we were like, okay, maybe we should try the original MasterChef. I think we made it to 4 seasons in, and we were so over it. We were like, oh my gosh, we were so judgmental. We were like, those adults suck. The children are so much better than you guys. Every time that blonde judge came in, like when she came in to MasterChef Junior and then MasterChef, we were like, oh, like, we did not like her. Let me just stick to what we watched on Hulu that we really liked. Next was The Masked Singer.
You're way more talented than Ken Jeong.
Okay, you know what? It's not a competition about me and the line.
I feel like it's a competition.
No, this is not about me.
Ken, could you have done this?
You know what?
Basically, celebrities in masks singing. There was only season 2 and season 3 on Hulu, and season 2 we really loved, but season 3 sucked because it was more like celebrities were just joining just to be in a costume compared to actual singing. Like, the singers in season 3, they weren't that good. It's a fun show to watch. Like, it's a good family show. Another fun game show, which strangely each time we watched it, I was high. Surprisingly enough, I thought, like, when we were talking about quarantine, we were like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna be getting high. There's nothing else to do. But like the whole year up until June because June was like a stressful month with everything going on, like, and I was sad. For some reason, I was just high while we were watching the match game, and it was hilarious. I'm sure it is really funny even if you're sober.
Veronica said my husband has a move he likes to do in bed called baking the cake. It's different every time, but I always end up covered in blank.
Next show we found on Hulu that we loved is Superstore. It's really fun and chill.
This month's video is called the Cloud9 Dress Code, looking bad at work.
Oh. Why do they want us to look bad?
Oh, no, it's because the video's from the 1980s. Back then, bad meant good.
Oh, so I guess that means you're a bad boss, right, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm a really bad boss. I'm a bad one.
Yeah. And then we started watching Woke when it came out. It's also a fun show. I was like, duh, Winston's the main character. I have to watch it. And he's such a fun, free, happy spirit. So even though it talked about what's going on right now with Black Lives Matter and police brutality.
Don't move. Central lead, the suspect in question. What? 6 foot tall. You got the wrong guy.
It's still a fun show.
I take the red pill or the blue pill.
I've got both in my room if you want to experiment.
But just bringing attention to with what's going on right now. I think that's it. Those were the only things that we really liked watching on Hulu. Oh, Killing Eve. This isn't something new we found, but the new season was out on Hulu and we watched that. I would say out of all the things I would recommend on Hulu, definitely watch Killing Eve. I love any kind of like murder, thriller movies are my favorite movies. And basically Jodie Comer, she's an amazing killer. I know that sounds weird. She's so good at killing, but she's a killer. And Sandra Oh is basically the police government / spy worker trying to find her. Oh my gosh, Jodie can speak like 10 different languages.
Meine Mutter hat ein Geschäft in Moschee. Я знаю, тебе будет трудно довериться мне опять.
Я preso per me,
Sì, e mi è andata anche nel naso.
Che bastardo.
Excuse me, sir. I'm so sorry to bother you, but are you Greg Richardson?
Tu vas y arriver.
Ah, a sun cream heiress from Sydney. My name's Natalie. This is Fanny.
I would say out of all the shows on Hulu, Killing Eve would be the #1 I would recommend. Let's move on to Netflix. So the first show we binge watched because my sister kept bugging me to watch it was The OA. It's like a sci-fi. It's a weird show. I don't even know where to begin. This woman has been lost for 7 years. She was blind and now she's not. And then she forms I don't want to say cult, she forms a group. You know what? Let me look up the summary of this show. A baffling story that somehow blends the Russian mob, angels, a scientifically pioneering kidnapper, resurrection, a pack of Midwestern teenage boys, a school shooting, and a series of dance movements that supposedly allow you to travel through dimensions, all told by an unreliable narrator. Yep, that's it. But if you like sci-fi shows, then I would totally recommend The OA. But after The OA, for the longest time, Netflix kept shoving Sabrina in our face, and I thought it would be cheesy. I loved Sabrina when I was younger, and I thought this was just going to be a remake, but no. I love all the blood and gore in this. I was like, okay, this is what Sabrina should actually be like. And we were both really into the show, especially season 2. We were just like, oh my gosh, that was actually a pretty decent show. Season 3 sucked. I feel like they should have ended at season 2. We didn't finish season 3 because it wasn't as like epic as season 2. Next, one of our favorites was White Lines. Whew. It's like sex, drugs, rock and roll in a show, except switch out the rock and roll for club music. It's a British-Spanish mystery thriller show where a girl is trying to find her brother who went missing for like 20 years. So she's from England and then she went to Spain to look for him in Ibiza. And yeah, we were actually really shocked when we were done at the show. We were just like, oh my gosh, we didn't expect that show to be so good, especially the chemistry between the main characters. It was intense. I don't remember the last show I can think of where the chemistry was so intense. Like, woo! Definitely would recommend White Lines. How to Get Away with Murder. I have no idea why we never watched this. I always hear people talking about it. I always see good reviews. And like I always scroll past it on Netflix. You know how like when you stop on a movie on Netflix, like it'll play the trailer for it. Like I never even like paused for the trailer. So I finally did, and just the trailer got me. I was like, okay, there's more murder mystery in this. Perfect. Now I totally understand why it's so popular. It does get intense though. Like we could only binge so much because there's so much going on. Like you kind of need to take a break and step back and be like, okay, let's get back to the show in a bit because there's so much going on.
Help. I've been shot.
Shoot me.
These are my favorite shows to watch, the ones that just keep you on edge and just keep you guessing, like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? We also binge watch Lucifer and Schitt's Creek. These aren't something we found during quarantine. It's just since both of them had their new seasons coming out, we binge watched them all over again. We both love Lucifer. Finally, him and Chloe hooked up. Schitt's Creek. I told all my friends to watch Schitt's Creek. I made my guy friend watch it with me last year. And my two girlfriends, one who's even in Canada where Schitt's Creek is from and filmed, hasn't even watched it. If you want a fun show, definitely watch Schitt's Creek.
Next step is to fold in the cheese.
What does that mean? What does fold in the cheese mean?
He folds it in.
I understand that, but how do you fold it? Do you fold it in half like a piece of paper and drop it in the pot, or what do you do?
David, I cannot show you everything.
Those are all the shows I could think of where I would be like, okay, you need to watch them right now. Recently, what I really liked that came out, these aren't something I would tell my friends like, dude, you need to go watch this. But Sneakerheads, that was really fun. Social Network, Social Experiment, that one's really good. Oh, movies. There are only 2 movies that I would like recommend, and they're action thrillers. Number 1 is Extraction. I was like, duh, Chris Hemsworth is in this, but I actually really liked it. And I immediately texted my guy friend. I was like, dude, you need to watch Extraction. Chris Hemsworth is a mercenary and he's trying to, like, this boy was kidnapped.
Can't you trust me?
No.
Good.
That was the one movie we really liked during quarantine. And The Old Guard, the one starring Charlize Theron. 4 Undying Warriors. Literally, like, they can't die.
Let's just say we're very hard to kill.
Secretly protected humanity for centuries became targeted for their mysterious powers just as they discover a new immortal. I actually thought there would be more movies I would recommend, but I scrolled through our things you've watched on Netflix, but there wasn't anything that really stood out to me where I'd be like, oh my gosh, you guys need to watch this. Those are the only 2 like I can think of. We've watched a crap ton. So these next 2 are not TV shows, they're actually YouTube channels that I found. Number 1 is Mocha Milk. After months of watching late night shows, with it being depressing with everything going on in the world, we watch it before bedtime. I don't know why. I'm subscribed to a ton of animal and pet YouTubes, but I rarely press on the video. Like, it's nice seeing like, oh, look at my cat doing this, but like I don't really press on the videos. I don't remember how I found Mocha Milk, but once I found it, I remember the first night we binged so many of the videos, and we are just in love with Wooyu. Wooyu makes us so happy, so whenever he posts a new video, we just get in bed and we watch Wooyu and Mocha, his dogs, and they just make us so happy. We go to bed happy. We get so excited when they upload a new video. So yes, that's been a big chunk of happiness we've had during quarantine. The second YouTube I found is Trevor Wallace. He's actually really funny, and I think I really like him because there's so many relatable videos. Like, he had an annoying upstairs neighbor video. He had like first time plant.
People ask me if I live alone. No, I've got 2 roommates, Marlboro and Light. Marlboro Light. I love plants.
He had like AirPod people.
I didn't know it was legal to rain on rich people.
A lot of his videos are pretty accurate and funny. Okay, so the last and most recent thing that has kept me sane during quarantine is plants. This all started with Carissa Pukis. She had a home tour video where she had a privacy film over her window so neighbors couldn't look in, and I was like, oh my gosh, why have I never thought of that? Because I always wanted natural sunlight, and I used really bright studio lights, and like I dreaded filming because afterwards I would get a really big headache. All you need to do is clean your windows, spray on some soap and water, and then you just squeegee the film on. Now that I have natural sunlight, I was like, okay, I need plants for my background because I completely changed my background. So I bought a hanging plant. Oh, he's not even like showing. Usually he shows in the corner. Wow, I didn't even notice that he wasn't showing. Okay, let's keep it here. And that is how it began. July and August was full of setting up everything that's over here. That took 5 minutes and we waited like 2 months just because of this pampas grass. So it's July 21. I bought this fern yesterday. Her name's Fernda. I wish I researched before I bought her because it seems like ferns are pretty hard plants to take care of. Just from the comments and stuff I'm seeing, but you have to keep them always moist, but obviously not super damp. And I'm just scared to lose her. If she is not in my Frida pot in my kimchi makeup video, that means she has died. She dead, by the way. Fernda, she dead. She is perfect for this pot. Like, how cute is that? She actually died about like 5 days ago, so I had her for about 2.5 months, and I thought everyone was exaggerating with the fern memes, but no, she was hard to take care of. After buying those first 2 plants, I wanted to actually for the first time take care of them. I looked through a bunch of plant videos and I found Harley G. I love Harley G. I've binge watched almost all of her videos. I would have her playing on TV while I was cleaning or while I was cross stitching, and I soaked up so much information just from a week of watching her videos. I was like, okay, you know, now I want more plants. So I bought some soil. I bought a plant stand. That is it finished. I feel like it's good for the price. I got it like around $50. Usually it's sold like at $70 on Amazon, but the price kept going down. Obviously, I need more plants, right? I mean, I feel like that's a good excuse to tell Josiah that I need more plants. I'm not counting my plants over here because this guy needs to stay there. All these guys need to stay over here. That's not bad for 50 bucks. I feel like that's a good plant stand. I noticed that when I went to buy plants, I always overheard girls talking about how during quarantine they've been buying so many plants, and like it didn't even cross my mind that this was another quarantine thing, you know, like banana bread. But for me, I was buying plants just for my background, and then I became obsessed. After I heard the girls talking, I went to Harley G's videos on my phone and went through her comments because I watch her videos on the TV, so I can't really look through comments. And like everyone was saying the same thing, like, oh my gosh, I've been so obsessed with plants, buying so many plants because of quarantine. And I was just like, damn, I thought I was the only one. But I mean, it makes me happy. A lot of us are sharing like something to be happy about during quarantine. I finally have something in common with my mom. She's been a lover of plants since as long as I can remember. I remember my dad always talking about getting her a greenhouse. When I went to go visit her last year in the Philippines, like it was fun seeing all her plants again. So this was her house in the Philippines last year. And then she actually moved later in the year, and the landlord actually let her bring a bunch of her plants over, so everything here outside is all her plants. This was all empty, and this is all your plants. No, that's good. It needs plants. And then just recently she moved in with her sister, and she's been sending me so many pictures of all the plants she bought. And it's funny because, you know, when I was younger, I was like,
oh, they all look the same, they're just plants.
But now, like, I get excited when she shows me pictures. As you can see with all of my recent videos, they've been about plants. I'm still gonna do makeup videos, but now I'll be doing plant videos too. Okay guys, so that is it. I really wanna know what you guys have been up to, or what new things, what books, what podcasts, what new hobbies you found, or whatever you've been doing for quarantine. I feel like in this video, I can make a mini segment of what my boyfriend's been doing during quarantine. In the first few months, he would go for walks every single day for 1 to 2 hours because his doctor said he doesn't get enough vitamin D. Next, obviously, video games. He's been playing with his guitar more. go. And he's been working out for the first time like ever. He was doing this 30-day workout thing with this guy, and that guy had such horrible music for his workout videos.
Take a chance, you stupid hoes. This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me.
And I was just like,
Oh my gosh, my ears are bleeding. Can you not listen to him, babe?
He was like, don't worry, it's just a few more days. It's just a few more days. Let me know what you guys have been up to. I hope you have all been safe. I hope you've all been healthy. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in the next one.